Whenever I look in your eyes, I just always want to by remembering all those good times. And most of all, that special rhyme. Baby, baby, you sweet, baby, too sweet, too sweet. Oh my God, too sweet, too sweet. It took me to see you walking, shaking up and bouncy rolling, bouncy rolling, bouncy rolling. Ooh, and there for me, feeling sad and break down, sad and break down. Baby, baby, you sweet, baby, too sweet, too sweet. Oh my God, too sweet, too sweet. It took me to see you walking, shaking up and bouncy rolling, bouncy rolling, bouncy rolling. Ooh, and there for me, feeling sad and break down, sad and break down. Behind every great man, oh yes, there's a woman so honey, I need your strength. That one day I can say like, baby, baby, you're sweet, too sweet, too sweet. Oh my God, too sweet, too sweet. It thrills me to see you walking, shaking up and bouncy rolling, bouncy rolling, bouncy rolling. Ooh, and there for me, feeling sad and break down, sad and break down. Baby, baby, you sweet, too sweet, too sweet. Oh my God, too sweet, too sweet.
The time is now 7 p.m. Time for the CBC Evening News. This time check is brought to you by Fruta.
Government relooking free bus fares for school children. The Prime Minister says the opposition leader is under threat. And in sports, Pinelands still the hottest in the BABA as they extended their winning streak to 6 games.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the Monday, April 11th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, government is re-examining its free bus fares for school children. Apparently, quite a significant number has not been taking advantage of the policy. This from Prime Minister Frundell Stewart at a St. Michael's South branch meeting last night. Lisa Broom tells us more.
In a wide-ranging address to party supporters, which included a series of questions, Mr. Stewart said government has started to review the policy. He says it was initiated in an effort to protect school children, especially girls, from the dangers associated with what has been dubbed the minibus culture. But the Prime Minister says a major part of the issue is that parents are not being vigilant.
Children cannot be allowed to run homes. Pupils cannot be allowed to run schools. Adults have to understand that they have a responsibility to point our younger people in the proper direction and to impose reasonable discipline on them, because they represent our future. And if our young people do not have requisite amounts of discipline and we have to rely on them for our future, then we're all at risk.
Mr. Stewart adds that Barbados will continue its green energy push despite the fall in oil prices.
So that when oil prices go back up, we are not caught like the 5 foolish virgins without any oil in our lamps. So we're going to be continuing with the green initiatives in spite of the fact that oil prices are down and we are not as challenged now as we were a few years ago when oil prices are going in the other direction. And I'm very pleased that across the country there's a high level of enthusiasm for these renewable energy initiatives.
Well, he also commented on the water problems plaguing some parts of the island. The Prime Minister acknowledged the importance of the ongoing mains replacement program to solve some of the issues.
The Minister of Agriculture, I can assure you, has a number of short-term plans in place, which he's going to be sharing with the country very, very shortly. I discussed them with the Cabinet as recently as Thursday. And this will help to ameliorate the conditions.
Before his address, the Prime Minister presented several branch members with certificates of recognition for their contributions to the Democratic Labour Party. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Meantime, Prime Minister Stewart believes the position of the opposition leader is under threat. He says that's the real reason the Barbados Labour Party announced last week that it intends to file a no-confidence motion against the government. Prime Minister Stewart says the BLP's move is really about dealing with dissent within its ranks and protecting its leader Mia Mottley's fragile political fortunes.
It has very little to do with us. That is really a no-confidence motion being brought to shore up the fortunes of the leader of the opposition, the leader of the Barbados Labour Party. That's what it's about. Her opponents in the parliamentary group are being challenged to vote other than she wants them to vote, because if they do that, there will be a carnival of expulsions.
The Prime Minister suggests this is being done now because Ms. Mottley will no longer be chairman of the BLP after the party's upcoming conference.
Since she cannot stand for re-election because they have term limits in that regard, she is not going to be chairman of the party when the party is going to general election. And she fears that whoever takes over the party in October this year may reverse much of what she has already done, including getting rid of Maria Eargard.
Well, meantime, the opposition will be going ahead with plans to move a no-confidence motion against the government tomorrow in Parliament. Opposition leader Mia Mottley made this clear at a Barbados Labour Party nomination meeting for the St. Michael's Central constituency. Shane Seeley has a story.
Opposition leader Mia Mottley outlined several reasons why she's standing firm behind the no-confidence motion during Sunday's nomination meeting at George Lamming Primary School. She told supporters government must be held accountable for what she says is its failure to address serious issues facing Barbados.
Week by week, we go to Parliament and we discuss all kinds of inane matters. Matters that don't matter to you. Matters that don't solve your problems. Don't allow us to find jobs. Don't allow us to deal with the water issue. Don't allow us to deal with being creative enough to deal with the educational and health issues. Don't allow us to deal with bringing back growth to this economy so people can have jobs and have money in their pockets again.
The recent Moody's downgrade of Barbados's bond ratings and the water woes facing the country are just two of the issues she highlighted for tomorrow's no-confidence motion. Another is what she says is government's refusal to make public Cahill contracts for the construction of a gasification plant here on the island.
We brought a private member's motion. I brought one since August last year, asking the Prime Minister to produce all 3 contracts. This is now April. Enough time for a woman to born a baby, to get pregnant and born a baby. And the Prime Minister refuses to make these documents public.
Meanwhile, attorney-at-law Arthur Holder celebrated his nomination to carry the banner for the Barbados Labour Party in the St. Michael's Central constituency once again. He defeated contender Hattie Haynes to get the nod by 271 votes to 50 over Haynes. Mr. Holder says he's confident that he won't lose this time around whenever elections are called to the incumbent Social Care Minister Steve Blackett.
They got a rude awakening coming. Whoa! And I am boasting. I am saying this from my heart, that it will be a landslide.
Shane Seeley, CBC News.
Well, a government minister is not at all convinced that Parliament should be occupied in dealing with the motion of no confidence being brought against the government by the BLP. Instead, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth Stephen Lashley believes the time should be spent on debating ideas and programs from both parties on transforming the local economy.
I do not think that this is the time for partisan preoccupation with machinations of leadership. I think this is a time, and I always say in Parliament, let us have a discussion. Let us talk about where we are going to position the Barbados economy. And I've heard some useful alternative ideas of late, but we have to debate them.
Mr. Lashley's comments came during a meeting of the St. Michael East branch of the Democratic Labour Party. Several party members were recognized for their support to that constituency. Mr. Lashley also touched on the Moody's downgrade, saying it came even as the island recorded some improvements. Notwithstanding this, he says the Barbados economy has been faced with a lack of productivity in vital areas, and he is suggesting a national discourse on the matter.
The time has come now to look very squarely at the wider economy. The public sector, of course, needs to be more efficient. We continue to face issues such as, are we as responsive as we ought to be within the public sector? The same thing applies to the private sector. We are not doing as well as we should internationally in relation to doing business in Barbados. The ease of doing business is something that we have to be able to improve, and that does not only reflect what is happening in the public sector.
Well, there are fresh calls for the church to respond to the assault of crime and violence on the society, and an ex-police officer turned reverend believes exorcism is necessary to fight the negative forces plaguing today's society. Speaking at the Democratic Labour Party's lunchtime lecture, Reverend Dr. Christopher Atherley is also convinced that family life in Barbados is under siege. He wants church leaders to help train more young church leaders to step up to the plate as exorcists.
I've just done an exorcist course where we're training some people to help me, because we're doing this all the time. We're getting old too, and need young people to carry on. This is very much needed work in our society, and in America, the Catholic Church, they realize that they have to revive the order of exorcists, because in Italy there are some 38,000 people practicing necromancy and witchcraft and all sorts of things. And these forces, they bring in, a lot of people don't know, but they open the doors for negative forces to come.
Just a moment, stay with us.
More great cities just got closer. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard is now even better. Fly to New York, Miami, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale with just 20,000 Scotia points. With your new Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard, you'll receive a welcome bonus of 10,000 Scotia points, so you can enjoy the cities you love most sooner than ever. Apply by March 31st. Call 1-800-744-2672 or visit your nearest branch. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Every Saturday morning, you got the bus and you went to town, my father's ice factory, to the street, up Sobers Lane to the library.
Tune in for the We Bajan series as we profile one of Barbados's most outstanding citizens, Dame Billy Miller, as she reminisces about her childhood on Thursday, April 14th at 6:30 p.m. on CBC TV Channel 8.
Sun power on water system.
I had some problems with my solar water heater. The collectors was leaking. I called the original agency and said, well, they can't do anything about it because the system is bad and they will have to install a new system. I didn't hear back from them. Then I called Sun Power. For me, I went to Monday, paid some money, and by Thursday it was on.
Get your Sun power.
lot of people think that fast bikes are cool, and the girls sure like the guys who ride them. But like so many things about life, you gotta be careful. Having sex without a condom is like riding a bike without a helmet. It's just plain dumb. It's okay to have fun as long as you're smart about it. My name is Daniel the Lion Fortress, and I'm different, and I'm making a difference.
Live up. Love, protect, respect.
The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union has given teachers strict instructions not to correct Caribbean Examination Council school-based assessments. The BSTU also has started to issue guidelines to teachers on how they should handle the SBAs. President Marianne Redmond declared the union stand today during a meeting for teachers at Solidarity House on the eve of the start of the new school term. She outlined how they should handle the situation going forward.
You have received from us the guidelines as to how you should go about dealing with the collection, recording, and handing over of those projects to your various heads of department for onward submission to the principal and to CXC. There's nothing that we are doing, I will repeat, for the public that is jeopardizing the success of the students over whom we have responsibility.
Well, Ms. Redmond has also called for the complete phasing out of SBA, saying it's now too heavy a burden for both teachers and the students.
We want compensation, yes, but we are also looking too for them to understand that this heavy emphasis on SBAs has to go. A lot of the rest of the world is phasing out the SBA for the same reasons that we are here today. The same reasons that we are discussing. The added burden of work on teachers, the added burden on children, especially at a time when they should be consolidating and really preparing for these exams. It is too much work all round.
Minister of the Environment, Dr. Dennis Lowe, wants